Hey guys, in this short video, what I'd like to talk about is the difference as you start planning out your future, like whether that's in the next 30 minutes or if that's in the next 25 years, to start considering looking for peace and joy, and maybe for a while tabling or scrapping altogether at some point, happiness. I was reading not too long ago about happiness being a state, and basically what that means in a simple example is think of any time where you've been happy or you've made the declaration out loud, I'll be happy when. It could be when I'll be happy when I get that car that I've always wanted, or I'll be happy when I have that spouse that I've always wanted, or I'm in that relationship, or when I get to take this trip, or when I lose 5 pounds and I get to fit in a size 34 pants again. Doesn't matter what it is. And I want you to ask yourself, and then I want you to answer for yourself, how long were you actually happy in that moment? The odds are it probably was just a temporary fix, right? It was a temporary high, and then eventually someone came along in a nicer car, someone you heard or talked to went on a nicer trip, and all of a sudden everything that was perfect at one point, all of a sudden comes back down to earth. It's very similar to what happened to me when I started reaching my first level of burnout about 10 years ago. I was still living in Louisiana, had my company there, I had 15 full-time trainers, I just finished writing the second book. Things could not have been going better, except I was miserable. I got to a point where I wasn't looking forward to going through training sessions. My personal training had kind of backed off a little bit just because I was just burnt out. I was tired all the time, wasn't eating the way I needed to. There were a bunch of other lifestyle factors that were going on that aren't important here, but they were all things that were having a profound impact on me being happy. So what I did is I eventually sold the business, picked up and moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, which I've now been here about 7 years. And sure enough, first 9 months were absolutely happy and heavenly. And they're still great. But eventually what happens is I came to the realization that I could change my clothes, I could change my location, I could change my occupation, I could change the amount of money that I spend or amount of money that I make. I could even take more trips. But eventually what I was seeking, because everything kept coming back down, it kept coming back down. I'd have that initial high and then I'd come back down. Was I was looking for joy. I was looking for peace. I was looking for something that I could ultimately be content with. And so what I started to do is I took a step back and I kind of had to do an audit of where I was in life at that particular time. Was what I was doing professionally filling me up, giving me some joy, something to look forward every day? And without a doubt, the answer was no. It didn't matter how much money that I was going to make being in this new location. Everything that was creating the burnout before in my life, I just brought with me. So changing the location only delayed that same feeling of burnout and in some cases despair almost. And so what I want to share with you right now is be crystal clear on some of the things that you tell yourself. Do you tell yourself, or have you made that promise, man, as soon as this happens, I'm going to be happy once and for all? Because that's setting you up for failure. It ultimately is, you and everyone else around you. Where what we should be focusing on is how do we remove things out of our life that don't add peace, that don't add joy, that don't add some level of contentment. Because when you solve that piece of the puzzle, you are going to be in a place that very few people get to. And it's all easy to get to through a coachable situation. But the first big part about that is just being aware of it. So I hope this provides some value, and I can't wait to hear some of the feedback as you start to go through some of these discoveries on your own. Have a great day.